Welcome to Episode 2 commentary, Bay Area sound commentary, audio commentary. This is Jared Emerson Johnson, music, sound, and voice direction.
Thanks for listening. This is Julian Kwasniewski, sound effects and voice directing.
We are happy to provide you with commentary. Background sequence now in orange, the beginning of a trend that I believe it was. Well, I'm not sure actually who came up with that idea. I know
but it's a good idea.
Jake did it. It is a very good idea, and it always looks cool.
Jake.
And then at the very end, let's credit Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Not knowing. Thank you, Jake.
I think Dan did it.
It was probably Dan. Dan, the master of all.
The CEO of the company, actually, he's their head animator, and he is all the voices in the game. Just kidding.
And here's our little spaghetti western sequence. I really was happy to see that they were starting each of these with a little genre piece. I believe I said that in the other commentaries I did with the programmers and artists, but
this is a great piece of music.
And this is the first debut of the voice of William Caston, who took over Max in this from this episode on and did an excellent job.
And we couldn't be happier with him. He really great person as well, and really into the project.
He's another guy we fly up for the recordings from LA because he's so incredible.
Phyllis Diller, Gavin MacLeod, Wake Martindale.
This is that little Sam and Max theme that just kind of comes in whenever they're doing their solo thing. You know, it's not really necessarily related to any of the cases that they're on. It's just sort of them hanging out, doing their banter. You'll notice it in cutscenes and here and there whenever they're just sort of rocking their little duo thing.
I think. We've got to drive over to the station right away. We're at our earliest convenience.
Great. I've been itching to bust some skulls since they canceled my so-called life.
So you can hear now that the voice, from a processing standpoint, it was about 2,500 to 3,000 lines per episode.
Yeah.
And so within that, you have lines like this that are coming over the TV, and so we need to process them accordingly. So through the course of the projects, we came up with a variety of processes for the PA horn. We have over the TV, there's people talking on the telephone, speaker phones, the mic podiums for the debates, and
The cops in episode 5.
And and what it means is just a really high level of tracking on our part. We have, we work with Brendan and Dave, and we identify which lines are going to need processing, and then doing our playtests of the game, we realize that those lists are usually not complete, and you'll hear a line that comes over the TV. It's like, hey, that's not supposed to be dry, and so we track that, and ultimately, if and when these were to be translated into other languages, all that work needs to be repeated, and oftentimes that doesn't happen for many months or years after the title ships, although it's much quicker these days. But anytime we do this stuff, we have to kind of document what we do and be able to recreate it at any time.
Thank you.
That last scene in Bosco's is one of the few scenes where Jimmy and Bosco are in the same shot, even interacting with each other a little bit, and they're both, believe it or not, voiced by the same man, Joey Kamen. Two very different voices, but both
and it
both
totally
very funny
works.
and effective, and it's always funny when that happens, and especially when it works as well as it does in that scene.
You call that emotion? I've seen Myra show more emotion, and she ought to be declared a national Botox.
All of the cutscene music in episode 2 was a little bit darker because I know the original design of the TV studio was meant to feel very kind of eerie and abandoned, and you're not sure why nobody's there. You're expecting it to be hustling and bustling, and of course the reason is because everybody's quarantined in Myra's set and she won't let them out, and so all the cutscene music is it's a little bit darker and more kind of atmospheric and strange in this, and that also then of course contrasts with the incredible manic nature of all the TV show themes, which are just pretty silly.
Bravo. Such realism.
I believe we'll be hearing them
I was convinced you were
shortly.
actually shooting him.
How did you do the sound effects? You really don't want to know.
You don't want to
believe
know.
me.
The search for the Midtown on, cowboys, is over. You're hired. Head to the set next door and we can begin filming immediately.
Let's hurry, Sam. We only have 14 minutes and 55 seconds of fame left.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. The first
Grab birds at the
TV
door,
show
and
theme.
You don't want him to know you've got a cow in there. Ready? Action!
That's
Is that
me-
you singing?
That's me singing.
That's
That's me on
awesome.
the violin at the beginning there, playing the fiddle.
Aha! I know you got a. Well,
And this is
well,
David
who's your
Boyle
guest,
Boyle, yeah.
as Mr. Featherly slash Philo Pennyworth. Also does the voice of Hugh Bliss, who,
And Frog's Leg.
as we find out,
Mine extra crispy.
is playing a larger role in this
A
whole
French
hypnosis
chef,
scheme.
eh? I love French bread and French.
We
fries.
decided early on to have all these sitcom sequences just be sound effects only. But I mean, obviously, it's more authentic, but it's also just funnier in the context of the scene to have the silence and waiting for that laugh track and the applause and stuff.
What's that? I'm sorry. What was that you said? He said moo goo gai pan. It's a French dish the chef has just made. Oh, super! I'll try some of that. Where's the plate? I can't help but feel this is all terribly wrong somehow. Aha!
That is so harsh.
I know. Featherly?
Interesting.
That's one word for it.
I really love his scarf.
There's a familiar flavor. Fennel, maybe? Kentucky bluegrass, I think. This moo whatever stuff is really good. What's it called in English?
Cow pie.
The writing in this is so perfectly sitcom. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
And the laugh track
Much props
timing
to
is
Dave and Brendan for this. It's just
yeah, definitely.
on all the little reaction shots are awesome. And that goes on just a little bit too long.
Now? Better get the serious toothpaste.
Zoom in. And cut. That was comic gold. The network is going to love it.
Nuts.
I love the little
I'll be in
wing
my
flaps for
dressing room
Featherly getting up there on the
refreshing my
cow.
nose. Don't call me for at least an hour.
What's great about this is that
Nice, you guys. Here's a
Telltale has a great tool for implementing audio, so we can basically play the game, and when we identify a sound that's needed, from identifying it to actually getting it in the game, assuming it's easy to make and we have it, really gives us a lot of power over the soundtrack. And so, even though it's a downloadable title, we still have. We're not treating it any differently, and there's really no limitations that we're not used to already.
Hello.
Yeah, it's very,
Welcome to the show.
very simple implementation, drag and drop,
It's great to be here.
designed by the illustrious
The audience.
Kevin Brunner.
Oh, greetings, worshipful fans.
Who's a
Remember, the only
also
reason
a
I'm on TV is
keyboardist.
because I'm better than
So
you.
don't tell him I told
very
you.
accomplished
Cooking to
keyboardist.
do, so let's get
And
right to it.
accordionist, I believe.
What are
He
we
has an
making,
accordion.
Sam?
Today we're baking a cake. Let's visit our
This music was my
ingredients and add
takeoff on
flavor
the
to
Frugal
flavor.
Gourmet.
I'm pretty sure that's a pie,
I would think it's a bourrée by
Leave the cooking to me.
Handel from Water Music, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't
Every chef has a
seen the show
secret
since the
ingredient
80s,
that no one
but
has ever heard of or used.
I remembered thinking it was just so funny and very PBS to have that little Baroque
Yeah.
opener to the cooking show. And this is my sort of Sam and Maxified,
Dried dingo kid.
slightly insane, manic version of that Baroque sound with the trumpet just wailing up high there. That's Mike Whitwell on trumpet. He's
Obviously, we can. Now, do
an
we
incredible
boil it,
guy.
Sam?
We're very lucky to have him.
You are, little buddy.
He's played with everybody. And whenever it's always great to have him in the studio because he's one of those cool jazz cats who always has stories about crazy people he's played with over the years.
Oh
And,
boy, let's take
and
it with us.
That was the sound of my oven too, slamming across the country. This is a great one.
yes, this music you're hearing here, believe it or not, it's a sort of a secret little homage to a friend of mine that I had in college who it's very similar to music I wrote for a student film she made that took place on a game show, and it was a little shout out to my friend Gia.
Hi, Gia.
Hey, Gia.
That's absolutely right!
I loved the implementation of this music because in every one of these scenes, that little game show theme, it kind of just keeps coming back and playing over and over again. Just when you think it's about to be over, it plays another time, and
I love
it just
that.
gives you the impression that they have this one, 20-second track of music that they had commissioned for this terrible, terrible game show that they can't really do anything except play it over and over again. And
We'll have to give you $1 million worth of food.
I just thought that was hilarious.
Right over there.
The sort of low-techness of this WARP
Can you buy
TV
deep
plays.
fried licorice ropes with food stamps?
And that
We'll take it.
ridiculous explosion that happens.
1, 2, 3, 174, 175.
What is that thing in the background there? I've just always wondered. The guy with
Yeah.
the barrel.
I know.
And then, like,
Go spend it.
Someone knows.
I love it.
A hole in my pocket.
It's somebody's
Putting quite a
grandpa or
bulge in
something.
mine.
And here's
Happy
my
birthday.
favorite little Soda Poppers theme is about to sneak in there. It's sort of the screwing with the Soda Poppers music. Anytime that Sam and Max are doing something to like emotionally or physically abuse the Soda Poppers, you can hear that. And you sort of hear little snippets in this episode, and then in episode 4, when it's the ultimate thing after Wizard's in AA and they're giving him the bottle of vodka to chug. You hear the full version of it with the whole A and B sections together, and it's
Darn it! You better not be going to see
sort of a
Myra.
drunken,
Well, anyway, we can't wait. We'll just have to
sleazy,
finish the show with only 2
almost
judges. You
circusy
guys
sounding
agree on
piece of
goals.
music. I love it.
Vote for me!
The first and hopefully not last bit of techno that has appeared in Sam and Max.
This was fun. We had to pitch them without changing the duration. So
Right. Yeah, this is one of those voice tech things where, he had to be able to sing everything, both heliumed and not heliumed, and
have it be in tune with the music still.
right. One of those fun asset tracking
Road to someday, bits of
games.
Yeah, it works. I hadn't heard it in a while. It works well.
And let's hear from our judges.
Bravo! Your wobbly tenor is way better than Peeper's shrill squawking.
I love that he hasn't taken off his glasses.
I know, it's
he's
great.
just
Dealing with it.
the show must go on for Specs.
Who's got my
He's a total professional.
I remember the moos too. We had moo
Yeah.
requests.
I
and
loved-
we had to have like a happy moo and an
Right.
upset moo, and
I like
they're
that
all
Bessie.
cows.
I like that Bessie is just a cow. She's on the talk show, and not like Featherly or the Mole Man who actually speak. She's just a cow mooing, like eating stuff.
Stars of the not quite canceled sitcom Midtown Cowboys, who also happen to be the winner.
And you're about to hear
TV's
sort of
embarrassing idol.
second version of the Sam and Max theme that you hear in The Office. It's sort of the more upbeat, kind of funkified version, and I created it for the Myra set, meant to sound like, like a talk show band playing their version of someone's theme, and it ended up using it in a number of other spots in different orchestration. Whenever it was sort of Sam and Max doing something
Hold it! My guess is
badass or
that
something.
But that bear has got you.
Sit.
We'll just sit where you want us to, man.
This is Dorothy Gallagher, who
Yep.
plays Myra.
She's great.
She's a great, eccentric, very bright personality.
And she sounds and acts exactly how you see
exactly.
here. It is like
exactly like
she's
Myra.
like, oh, I know what you want. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple
I
more.
got
I'm
it,
going to give you a couple more.
Let me
Here
give
we
you
go.
another.
Oh,
Here we
yeah,
go. Okay.
I got you.
Okay, I think I know what you want.
Hear everything about
And then
your
she nails it.
And then she nails it,
scandal
of course.
detailed in the alien love triangle times.
I'm very glad they included the fact that Sam plays the banjo in the season. I can't remember. I don't think it appeared anywhere in Hit the Road.
I was battering this purse snatcher
But,
with a broken parking
yeah.
meter and
I think it's a very
screaming,
important part of
"Why
Sam's
don't you die?"
characterization.
And Sam said, "You crack me
Only
up,
a very
everybody."
specific type of
The
person
point
plays the
being,
banjo, and Sam is definitely
God
that
crack
type.
Sam up.
Here's Bessie again, and that is just very harsh. And Bessie's out of here. But what's this?
At the risk of
And this
making
is the sort of
obvious comments,
wrapping everything up music theme.
Is she breathing?
It appears in various different
Yeah.
incarnations at the end.
Tune in next week.
Yep.
I wanted to ask it a few
And
questions. And maybe
comes into sort of transitions into the hypnosis theme that comes in, or the sort of devious
Right side, the audience
something
go home.
even more sinister is
Oh, I was just
is
getting
coming
warmed
down
up.
the line.
Do you think Myra will have us back on the show again soon?
Speaking of unlikely,
This is still just the regular wrapping it up theme. But the
Complete
the
coincidence.
plot thickens theme is coming
I
up.
think so. The cogs of the universe
It's got that
synchronize in
thing with the
ways we
vibes and
can't
the
see.
trombones.
Speaking of things we're not
Here it
able
is.
to see, there's a new restaurant at the zoo where you can eat what they feed the animals.
Empty popcorn.
Oh, and that heart.
And processed bread
She's
logs
not
with
dead, see?
tranquilizers
No.
and antidepressants.
So it's a family
Made
game.
me logy.
All right, thanks for
Let's
watching
head back
episode
to
2.
the cooking show set and see if we can figure out how to make fried pork rinds.
Okay, but I get the feet.